What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So, believe it or not, I have a hard time believing this myself, but it sounds like there was some sort of Diablo 4 announcement set up and then pulled, and it's a whole thing. This Diablo situation with Diablo Immortal and Blizzcon, man, it's insane how much has come out of this entire debacle. But we're going to talk a bit about that because it was an interesting thing that was posted up by Kotaku and Jason Schreier, and I kind of want to go over that and why it feels like Blizzard and Activision could be a bit out of touch from their fan base. Just a bit. We're also talking about the Smash Bros. Situation around cloud saves, because I know people have been curious after seeing Splatoon 2 if that is going to be a problem. Also, guys, if you did miss it, we did talk about the rumored Nintendo Direct that's coming up in November. That was a video that went out last night, so if you missed that, it's in the card above. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, these news videos, make sure you do hit the like button. It does help out. And we're going to start today with some quick news, and that's going to start with Fortnight, because just when I thought they finished all of their crossovers after putting things like Thanos himself into the game, well, I was wrong, because now they're partnering with the NFL and they're going to have representation from all 32 teams. Yeah, they put out a trailer, they showed it off. Apparently you're going to be able to spend V-Bucks on different outfits from the NFL, whether it's your favorite team, maybe you like as they show the Patriots or the Broncos or the Eagles. You can buy outfits and run around in your favorite team's gear. So, kind of neat to see. Also caught me a bit off guard because usually I look at NFL and I think NFL and EA partnered together and some ironclad contract or something. No, I guess they still kind of shop around the rights for things like representation for the different teams. Obviously, they're not building a football game here, so I guess EA doesn't care that much. It was just interesting to see this because it's not something we're used to now with EA pretty much completely locking down those rights. Also, check this out. We've been talking about Crackdown 3 for a while because we don't know if it's ever coming out. We assume it's launching in February. We're definitely going to find out, I think, this weekend at XO18 when we see all kinds of stuff, including Crackdown 3 being playable there. But it does seem like Crackdown 3 is coming out sooner rather than later, as it doesn't look like it's getting delayed because it's actually been rated. Yeah, I couldn't believe myself. Oh, cool, it's been rated. That means it's pretty much near the finish line. We heard Phil Spencer also talk about how he's played a complete build already and they wanted to polish it. I guess he wasn't kidding, because Australia actually rated this. They rated this at a mature 15, which basically is an M rating, as we would expect. I don't think anyone would be surprised that there will be some sort of mature rating with this thing. No one was really expecting a teen rating. But it's good to know that it could actually be coming out, because I feel like we've been talking about Crackdown 3 for, since 2014. It's been more than 4 years. This is insane how long we've been talking about this game. It started talking about in 2014, and it's gonna, we assume, release in early 2019. So nearly 5 years talking about this game, and that means it's gonna have nearly 5 years of expectations behind it. So we'll see. Hopefully they have a good showing at XO18 this weekend, although who really knows. They could show us a build that they have really built from the ground up just to show off at this event that is very carefully planned and scripted as well. So maybe we won't actually know how it is until we get it in our hands and run around and try to break it like everyone always does. Also, the last nail in the coffin for, in this case, we would have Sunset Overdrive going to PC. Yeah, it looks like it's happening because we not only saw the rating with the ESRB, well, Wario64 posted on Twitter that they had found a Steam database listing for it, as you're seeing here. So yes, there you go. Also, a good side effect from here, something else we've learned at this point, is that it's going to Steam. There was a lot of people concerned that maybe it's a Windows Store only thing with Microsoft. Well, it looks like it's going to have a listing in Steam with this, so that's awesome. This is actually another announcement, believe it or not, that I think is going to be at XO18 this weekend. So that's another thing to look out for if you'd wanted to play this, but it was actually one of the few Xbox-only games. It's going to be really cool to see it on PC because people will be maxing it out, 4K visuals, high frame rates. That's probably the way this game is meant to be played. It's a good-looking game because of the art style, but if you start, cranking up the graphical sliders and the high resolution, it's going to look even better, and it should play a lot better on PC as well. Exciting stuff. We'll find out, hopefully this weekend, when you can go pick that up on Steam. All right, guys, some of the quick news out of the way. Let's jump into the bigger stuff, and we're going to start right away with Smash Bros. Because one of the things that people seem confused about at times, especially with these online games with Nintendo, is will cloud saves work? Because Splatoon 2, cloud saves don't work. Pokemon Let's Go, cloud saves don't work. Smash Bros. Ultimate, cloud saves do work. Yes, they're actually listed on its product page on Nintendo. I built it up a little bit there, but yeah, it looks to be compatible based on the store page. You can see them down there right here in this screenshot. Yes, there you go, guys. Cloud saves for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Good news, because I know a lot of people were concerned about how this would work because they're concerned about cheating and all this stuff. Well, the good news here is it makes sense to have cloud saves because, of course, you probably want to save your save data, whether it's from the single player or, of course, unlocking all of those characters. Well, I'm sure it's going to be fun to play through it. I don't know if you want to unlock all of those characters all over again and then, something happens to your Switch all over again and you have to keep doing it. I think there's a good peace of mind there when you know that your stuff is backed up in some way to the cloud, to USB stick, something. But good news there, guys. Smash Bros. Ultimate, yes, it will have cloud saves, so good stuff. Next up, let's talk about Kirby Star Allies. It came out earlier this year. It was okay, did some alright sales, but since then we haven't heard a lot. It did have some early free DLC that were characters and stuff that they added in, or your friends, and then since then it's been kind of quiet. Until yesterday. See, we actually had a tweet put out by the Japanese Kirby account that showed this image here, and then below that, when translated, says, "In this broad galaxy, there is a hole that connects to another dimension unlike ours." I once heard tales like this, but I wonder if there really is such a thing. So now, of course, people are speculating and running wild that there could be some kind of actual downloadable content coming out for Kirby. Now, I want to also stress that this could be paid downloadable content. That's very important to note because we did hear Nintendo, of course, before. This is something we also talked about in the Newswave, that Nintendo was looking more and more into DLC for games that are already out, specifically big first-party games that are already out. They would consider Kirby Star Allies as a bigger first-party title in their current backlog of games that they have released that maybe doesn't have DLC. And they could probably make a new world that you go to, or a new set of stages that you go to, you play through. I could see people spending some money on that. Now, would they release it as a free DLC? Maybe, because they seem to be wanting to use downloadable content to drive sales heavily because it's new content. But I could also see them maybe looking at that and saying, you know what, we'd be leaving $5 to $10 on the table per person who would want to play this, and it'd be easier to tell investors, hey, we made, a couple $1 million off of this piece of downloadable content we put out. The people liked it. We got a bunch of money back, and it worked out. So I'm looking at this tweet, and I maybe they're teasing it, maybe they're not, but it at least lines up with what we've heard from Nintendo, specifically at their most recent investors briefing, where generally they are talking like complete truths to them. They usually don't lie. You usually don't lie to your investors straight up. So I expected DLC for some games. Kirby seems to fit that perfectly, but we'll see if they have anything announced going into the holidays. That would be something I expect, believe it or not, to them just kind of put up on Twitter. Hey, maybe they drop it into a direct. Next up, let's talk about Diablo 4, because we don't really have any official announcement for Diablo 4. Instead, we had that Diablo Immortal cell phone game. And I think there are a lot of people who would like to see a Diablo 4 announced, myself included, because Diablo 3 is just too much fun. And yeah, I'm ready for that next Diablo at this point. Diablo 3 was, 2012? Let's get Diablo 4 out there. It's been 6 years. So, naturally, we hear about Diablo Immortal. A lot of people are like, well, why don't you just tell us that Diablo 4 is in development of some kind? Well, Jason Schreier decided to, I guess, poke around and see what he could find. From two different sources, he actually found out that allegedly there was some kind of video set up for BlizzCon that would essentially announce that Diablo 4 is in the works. Remember how we talked about before? I said, well, if they had just thrown up just a logo and said Diablo 4 now in development, exactly what happened with something like what we saw with Metroid Prime 4. That was a while ago. That was 2017, right? And well, we're coming up on 2019 soon and still haven't seen much about it other than that logo. But it worked. It told us that was happening. We knew it wasn't just being relegated to the 3DS. So we were all fine. We're content. And we're just waiting for them to show us more. That, I think, would have worked there. Jason Schreier seems to say that, yeah, they had that set up, but they pulled it from BlizzCon for some reason. And that made us very confused, because why would you pull it from BlizzCon and then close with a cell phone game to a bunch of PC gamers? It makes no sense. Well, believe it or not, I can't believe it myself either, Blizzard actually responded. Yeah, and in an update to their posting on Kotaku, they said this. First off, we want to mention that we definitely hear our community. We generally don't comment on rumors or speculation, but we can say that we didn't pull any announcements from BlizzCon this year or have plans for other announcements. We do continue to have different teams working on multiple unannounced Diablo projects, and we look forward to announcing when the time is right. Now, despite this, Jason Schreier does go on to say that there are sources saying that there was indeed a video filmed with co-founder Alan Adam where he spoke to fans about a new Diablo project. But here's the thing. I kind of look at that and I say, yeah, they probably have been working to put something out there for a new Diablo game, but they did put up on their own blog that they weren't ready to announce anything yet. Again, I think they could have done something, just anything. I mean, you could tell them, hey, this is Diablo 4, or something that I think would actually go over very well if they're not ready for Diablo 4 yet is a remake of Diablo 2. I think a Diablo 2 remake, even remade similar to how Diablo 3 is now, would go over very well. People really like Diablo 2, like really liked. I had a friend a long time ago who spent way too much time in Diablo 2 online. Like we're talking thousands of hours. So I do think a lot of the community around Diablo would absolutely love a Diablo 2 remaster. It's very odd to see this conflicting information, whether it's Blizzard just saying, oh no guys, we definitely didn't pull anything, you know, wink wink. It's possible that they're just saying that to kind of backpedal from this whole situation, but I think it makes zero sense why they would pull that announcement. It makes no sense. So I almost feel like they didn't pull an announcement, but I do think they're working on an announcement for the next Diablo game, especially now after this Diablo Immortal thing. I tell you now, they're working on something. They're figuring out how they can maybe get rid of the outrage real quick. And hey, if they have something ready, put it out there. So we'll see. It was just a very interesting development along the Diablo Immortal situation. And if they're not going to do Diablo 4, let's get the Diablo 2 remake done and out, and then we'll work towards Diablo 4. Then our last bit of news, let's talk about PT. Of course, we all know PT at this point. It was the game that Kojima was working on, and it didn't work out because Kojima, the whole thing exploded. PT gets ripped down from the store. If you still had it on your PlayStation, you could still technically play it, but you can't go download it easily, I'll say that. Well, fans are not happy because PT had a ton of potential. If you played that demo, it was genuinely terrifying. But a lot of fans are looking and saying, well, I can remake that, and they are. We talked about before how there was one that was being worked on. It got shut down. It seemed like Konami had actually even offered them an internship. Everyone seemed pretty happy, and it kind of ended from there. Well, there are other fans who are working on it as well in Unreal Engine 4. One is actually out now. You can go download it. Yeah, check this out. This is actually the page here, and they announced it and put it out on itch.io, and it is like the full thing, I guess, redone in Unreal Engine 4, and while several people have played it, they're seeing that it's not exactly the same, but it is like as close as you can get without, I guess, the original source code and everything. But it is pretty cool to see them getting to this point, and they're going to keep working on it. But to see the amount of, I guess, admiration a lot of these people have for PT to where they want to remake it and let other people play it, and it's on PC, so you can just go download it, Unreal Engine 4, so it's a known engine and everything. It's kind of neat to see that. So there you go. If you want to get your PT fix without having to, I guess, buy a PlayStation 4 on eBay for a lot of money that has PT, you can technically go download this fan project and try it out. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure to hit the like button. It does help out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is that PT demo, maybe you tried it out, maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't. Let me know what you think about that down below. Or the Diablo situation. Would they have really pulled a Diablo 4 announcement from BlizzCon? Because that set the internet off once Jason Schreier put that out there, and then Blizzard had to kind of put a statement out. It's a whole debacle. And then, are you relieved to hear about Smash Bros. Ultimate having cloud saves? I know I am. It's good to hear that a game this large will have them. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.